Hey there, English learners. Welcome to Emil's English Podcast, where grammar gets easier, clearer, and a lot more fun. Today's lesson is all about phrases versus clauses. We'll break it down, simplify it, and make sure you leave with confidence. So grab your notebook, stay focused, and let's dive right in. So let's kick things off with a pretty big question. How are sentences built? I mean, have you ever really stopped to think about it? They don't just magically appear. Nope. They're actually constructed piece by piece from smaller, essential parts. And those building blocks are what we're talking about today. You know, just like a house is built from bricks and wood and nails, every single sentence in English is constructed from what we call phrases and clauses. Getting a handle on these two is honestly the key to mastering sentence structure. All right, so let's get to know our first building block, the phrase. It's the simpler of the two, but trust me, it is absolutely everywhere in English. Okay, so here's the official definition. A phrase is a group of words which make sense, but not complete sense. The most important part of that is not complete sense. A phrase is basically a fragment. It adds some meaning, for sure, but it just can't stand on its own as a full thought. It kind of leaves you hanging, asking, and then what happened? Let's look at this classic example. In a corner. See what I mean? It makes some sense, right? You can picture a corner in your mind, but it's not a whole story. Who's in the corner? What's going on in the corner? It's missing that key information it needs to be a complete sentence. And here you can see how phrases work inside actual sentences. Just look at the parts in italics. In the east, on a wall, to my door, of great beauty. Each one adds an important detail, like where something is or what it's like, but if you try to pull them out and say them alone, they're not complete thoughts. They really need the rest of the sentence to do their job. All right, let's move on to our second building block, the clause. Now, this one's a little more complex, but as you're about to see, it's also a whole lot more powerful. Now, you're going to want to pay close attention to this definition. A clause is also a group of words inside a sentence, but here is the absolute game changer. It contains a subject and a predicate. Remember, the subject is who or what the sentence is about, and the predicate tells us what the subject is doing. This gives a clause its own little engine, which a phrase just doesn't have. Just look at these examples. In who pay their debts, the word who is our subject and pay their debts is the predicate. Or how about while it is raining? It is the subject and is raining is the predicate. You see? Each of these italicized groups has that subject-predicate combo. They almost feel like little mini sentences that are living inside a bigger one. Okay, so you've met the phrase and you've met the clause. Now for the most important part. Let's put them right next to each other to make the difference totally crystal clear. Okay, let's take this sentence. He has a chain of gold. That highlighted part of gold, that's a classic phrase. It's just a simple descriptive chunk of words telling us what the chain is made of. Easy enough? All right, get ready, because this is where the light bulb really goes on. We can say the exact same thing, but we can do it by swapping out that simple phrase for something with a bit more oomph, a bit more structure. And here we go. He has a chain which is made of gold. The meaning is 100% identical, but the structure, totally different. We've just replaced the phrase of gold with the clause which is made of gold. Can you feel that difference? Let's break it down even more. And here it is, the whole story, side by side. The phrase of gold, it's just a group of words, no subject, no predicate. But the clause, which is made of gold, it has both. The subject is which, and the predicate is made of gold. That internal engine we talked about, that is the crucial difference. It's everything. So why does all this matter so much? Well, because now you don't just have a pile of words. You've got a complete grammar toolkit for building much better, much more interesting sentences. So really, the main point is this. Knowing the difference between a phrase and a clause gives you control. It lets you be more precise, more descriptive, and way more varied in how you write and speak. You get to choose. Use a simple phrase for a quick hit of information, or use a more complex clause to add detail and rhythm. The choice is yours. Let's just boil it all down. This table is your cheat sheet. Both are groups of words. Both make sense inside a sentence. But, and here's the big one, only a clause has both a subject and a predicate. If you remember anything, remember that. Pretty simple when you see it like this, right? So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. You're not just using words anymore. You're more like a sentence architect. Now that you know the fundamental building blocks, the only question left is, what will you build? Thanks for tuning in to ML's English podcast. I hope today's lesson helped you take one more step toward mastering English. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you'll never miss a new episode. Have questions or maybe some grammar topics you'd like to see explained next? Drop a comment below. I'm always listening. Until next time, keep learning, keep practicing, and stay confident.